You didn't even notice I was gone, did you? She said, standing in the doorway of the living room, keys in hand, suitcase at her feet. James glanced away from the TV for just a second. His eyes slid past her as if she were a shadow that had accidentally fallen across the floor. Then he stared back at the screen, where some expert droned on about rising gas prices. What? He grunted, toothpick still wedged between his teeth. I said, you didn't even notice I was gone. Linda's voice trembled, not with tears, but with fury built up over 28 years of silent coexistence. Do you even remember my name? He finally turned his head. His old, worn rocking chair creaked beneath him. His gaze was heavy, exhausted, as if his very presence sucked the oxygen out of her. Linda, not this drama again, he sighed. Where are you going this time? To your brother? Back for advice from that drunk. No, James. This time to the lawyer. To file for divorce. The silence hit harder than any scream. If someone had peeked into the house on a quiet suburban street in Atlanta that Sunday morning, they'd have seen an ordinary scene: neat lawn, white shutters, a pickup truck in the driveway. But behind the facade, cracks, deep as canyons. And they'd been growing ever since their son Daniel left home 15 years ago for good. Linda stood at the door, heart pounding as if she were a 17-year-old girl running away from her parents again. But now she was 62, and there was nowhere to run, only forward. Or back into the past. You're not serious, James finally said, standing up. He towered over her by a head, but lately he'd been slouching more, as if carrying an invisible weight. No, James. This time, I'm meeting Daniel. He's coming into town. He wants to talk to us. Us? James snorted. He doesn't want to talk to me. He wants you to choose. Maybe, she said, picking up her suitcase. But for the first time in a long time, I want to choose myself. Linda's new place was smaller, but brighter. It didn't smell of motor oil and stale coffee, the sense of their marriage. It smelled of lavender, books, and freedom. She didn't know if it would last, but for the first time in decades, she didn't have to check if James had turned off the gas. She didn't have to pretend not to care when he said, "Women don't understand finances." She spent the whole day unpacking, cleaning, making tea without wondering if it was too hot for him. Then she sat on the porch and called Daniel. Mom, you really left? He asked, his voice as soft as always. Yes, sweetheart. It was time. Is he furious? He's in shock. And maybe, for the first time in years, scared. Daniel fell silent. I'll be there tomorrow morning. Anne, I want you both at the meeting. At Maple Cafe. 10 o'clock. It's the last time I'll try to fix this. You don't have to do that. I do. Because I love you both. Even if you've forgotten how to love each other. He hung up. Linda watched the sunset. The sky burned as if it knew this wasn't just another fight. This was the last Sunday holding up their entire family history. The next morning dawned rainy. Linda arrived at the cafe first. She chose a table by the window and ordered black coffee, no sugar, no cream, just how James liked it. The irony wasn't lost on her. At 10 minutes to 10, Daniel appeared. He'd lost weight since their last meeting. His hair was shorter, his gaze firmer. But his smile, the same warm, boyish one. Hey, Mom, he said, hugging her. You did good. I don't know if this is right. Right is being honest. Even when it hurts. At 10 o'clock sharp, the cafe door opened. James walked in like a man heading to his execution. His jacket was old but clean. His tie was crooked. He stopped in the doorway, saw them at the table, hesitated as if about to turn and leave. Then he stepped forward. Sit down, Dad, Daniel said. His father sat. No, hello, no, how are you? Just sat, placed his hands on the table, and stared into the cup the waitress set down. I didn't come here to argue, Daniel began. I came because I don't want you to die alone. Either of you. Linda nearly choked. James flinched. You think we'll die alone, he rasped. You already are. You just happen to live under the same roof. Mom, with your silence. You, with her tears she hides. You're both suffering. And blaming each other. And I'm tired of choosing between you. You chose her, James shot back. I chose the truth. You never knew how to listen, Dad. You only heard what confirmed you were right. And Mom, she stayed silent too long just to keep the peace. And what do you propose? Linda asked. I'm selling my studio in New York. Switching to remote work. Anne, I want to buy a house here. Near you. So you can be a family again. Not perfect. But real. You've lost your mind? James laughed, but there was no joy in it. You'd give up everything for us? After all this? Not for you. For me. I'm tired of hiding 1,000 miles away to avoid guilt. Silence. Rain tapped against the windows. I don't know if I can forgive you, James finally said, not to his son, but to Linda. For leaving. And I don't know if I can forgive you, she replied, for making me leave. Then let's start small, Daniel said. Let's just sit together. No accusations. No past. Just 3 people who once loved each other. 2 weeks later, Linda moved back home. Not because she'd forgiven him. Not because she'd forgotten. But because she understood, family isn't about perfection. It's a choice. Every single day. James cleared out the workshop. In the living room, space appeared for Daniel's canvases. He hung the first painting, a sunset over the ocean, above the fireplace himself. Without a word, they started family therapy. Sometimes they yelled. Sometimes they sat in silence. But they never ran again. Daniel bought a house in the next block. Every Sunday, he came for dinner. Grilled burgers. Told jokes. Argued with his father about politics. Kissed his mother on the forehead. One evening, James found Linda on the porch, watching the stars. Are you happy? He asked. Not always. But now I'm living. Not just surviving. He sat beside her. Didn't take her hand. But their shoulders touched. I don't know how to be better, he admitted. But I want to learn. Then start with thank you. For making your coffee every morning for 28 years. He chuckled softly. Thank you, Linda. You're welcome, James. And in that simple exchange, there was no drama. No anger. Just a beginning. Because a real family isn't one without conflict. It's one that finds the strength to survive it. Together.